My name is Maya and welcome to the Milai's Knitting podcast. Today is episode 9 and we are the 21st of October 2023 and I am coming to you from kind of sunny Switzerland where I live with my gecko. And that's it, I don't have a cat, sorry. Today, as promised in last week's episode, I will show you 2 finished objects that I have kind of kept hidden until now because I knit them so fast I didn't even get to show them into the whip stage. So I will show you that, and I will also show you my only whip I have at the moment, which will look like I don't have knit much on it, but actually I have, but I have also frogged almost half of it. So yeah, I will show that to you, and I also have a tiny bit of acquisitions this week, and that's about it. I will put links of everything I talk about down in the description box, and I will also put my measurements there, and I think that's it. Today, I feel like it's kind of a low energy day, and when I'm low energy, I tend to speak not very loudly, so I just hope you will be able to hear me, but that's about the best I can do with the current state. I mean, I'm really tired today, so yeah, I'm drinking hot chocolate. I hope it will get me some sugar energy flowing, but yeah, we will see. For now, it's too hot, so I'm just waiting. Anyway, so my first finished object is the one I'm wearing, which is the Soho top by Kadri. And can you see that? Yeah, I'm still wearing my pajama pants. I didn't even get the courage to change my bottoms, so, but I think it's just hidden. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Soho top by Kadri, and this is actually the second time I knit this pattern because I really liked it the first time, and I just wanted to change a little bit of things, which I have in this one, and now it's almost perfect. But it's better than the first one anyway. So the yarn I used is Linen Quill Worsted by Pearl Soho, which is, as the name suggests, a worsted weight yarn. It's not the usual fingering weight that people use for the half and half, triangle warp, and all those kind of things. The colorway is kettle black, and I used a little less than 2 skeins. However, each skein of this yarn is 110 grams. So a little less than 2 skeins is still more than 200 grams. So there's that. I am off gauge, even though the pattern asks for worsted weight yarn. It's actually not worsted, it's fingering held double, which is worsted if you count the yardage per 100 grams. But apparently this yarn is thick, so I couldn't get gauge, and I used 4.5mm needles instead of the 4 that the pattern asks for, and my gauge is 17 stitches instead of 20 per 10 centimeters. So what I did is I knit the size 1 instead of the size 2. I should have knit if I wanted the right amount of positive ease at my upper bust, because that's how I size now. I use my upper bust instead of my full bust, because my upper bust is bigger. So I knit size 1 instead of size 2, because my gauge was bigger, but I kept exactly the same measurements for the armhole, because I usually don't wear bras, so I don't have anything to hide there, and I can't stand when it comes to hide in the armpit, especially because this is supposed to be a summer garment, even though it's worsted weight. So I really didn't want to have anything too close from there, so I just kept the same length, even though my row gauge was also bigger. So that's why it's coming so low here. I did unintentionally knit it even longer, because I added 2 more rows actually, because when I counted I was in the middle of a new row and I was like, oh, I'm already there, and I was too lazy to rip back just the half row I had already made, so I just finished it, so it's even 2 rows longer than it should be on both the front and the back. The other modification I made is that I changed the strap length, because you are supposed to knit, you are casting on the middle of the strap. Can you see that? Yeah, you're casting on in the middle of the strap, knitting a little bit without increases, and then doing the increases, doing the other strap, and then casting on in the middle to join to two straps, you need the whole front panel, and then you do the same for the back. But the back is exactly the same, which I do not enjoy because the back should be longer, because backs are longer. That's kind of the same thing you do when you do short rows down the back of the collar to raise it. It's also because the back just needs to be longer. So what I did is I removed the rows you're supposed to knit when you pick up from the front straps. You are supposed to knit the same amount of rows without increases. I omitted them and started straight with the increases. And then I cast on for the, can you see anything? And then I cast on for the back. Because on the first time I knit this garment, the boat neck is nice, like it comes to a nice place. It's boating, like it should. But the back sits very low. Maybe I can put up some pictures. Maybe I have pictures of the back of this garment, but it's knit in cotton. And the back is coming too low there, and I just think it doesn't look good on me for my taste. So I just wanted this to come higher. So that's why I added length to the panel and removed the straight parts of the straps so that this would be shorter, and this would make the neckline come higher on the neck. And it helped, but it also, I knew it would do it, but it also made the front come a little bit lower, but that's okay, I don't mind. But yeah, it's better on the back, but it's still not perfect. I would really prefer if it would be like that, but it's not. But it's no big deal anyway, I don't really care. I don't see it when I wear it. I can kind of feel it's coming too low, but yeah, doesn't matter. I'm still very, very happy with the finished piece, and I knit that in like a week because I use 4.5 millimeter needles, and it's garter, and yeah, it just went super quick, super easy to do. For the I-cord, I always change the pickup rate and needle size for some reason because usually when I'm knitting I'm on the go and I don't want to have 10 size of needles with me, because to get the right gauge for your I-cord you usually have to try some different needle size to get a perfect gauge if you are really picky like I am. And since I don't want to travel with so many needles with me, I will usually use the same needle as the body, which is not what's asked for in this pattern. You are supposed to use smaller needles. But what I do is I change the pickup rate. That's easier for me to do than changing the needle size. So for this I-cord, I used the same size as the body, but I picked up less stitches to compensate for the fact that I didn't use smaller needles. And I think it's good. The gauge is perfect compared to the garter. However, I think I could have picked up a little bit less stitches, or even use smaller needles, because when I did that, I think I was at home, so I could have used smaller needles anyway. Because when I don't know how to make it work in the camera, but sometimes when I'm sitting in certain positions, it can kind of show side boobs, which is not a big deal either, because it's just side boobs. I mean, guys can go with their, how do you say that in English? Shirtless? Guys can go shirtless and nobody cares, so if you can see a little bit of side boob, I don't care either. But yeah, I think I could have used just a smaller needle size to help with that. Next time. Oh yeah, and the main modification I did is that you're supposed to knit flat both the front and the back panels, obviously, and then you join in the round, but since it's garter, you need to knit one round and purl one round. And the last time I did that with the other sample of this pattern, I hurt my wrist, and for a whole year, actually I'm still hurting. It's been a year and a half now, and it never went away. I even had to go to doctors, I had to do an IRM, and it costed me like $1,000 to see what was happening in my wrist, and it was caused by the purling with the cotton yarn at the tight gauge. So I was like, there's no way I'm purling again with this pattern, even though it's different fiber, it's a loose gauge, and it's not cotton anymore. So I knew I didn't risk anything, but yeah, it was just in my head. So I decided to knit the whole thing flat, both the front and the back, and then seam the edge. So what I did for that is I did, because this detail here, can you see that? It's in black yarn. There is a slip stitch detail that looks like an I-cord to mimic the I-cords you have on the edges. And it's a 2-stitch I-cord, so what I did is I did 2-stitch I-cord on the front panel and on the back panel, which made total of 4 stitches, I-cord stitches, slip stitches, whatever. And I seamed the 2 edge stitches together, which only left 2 apparent stitches from the 4. I hope that was clear. So that's what I did, and that's it. I used my ends to seam because I left long ends at the bottom when I finished my panels, so that I wouldn't have more ends to weave in. And that's kind of everything I have to say. I love it. I really like it. The reason I had this yarn in my stash is because I wanted to knit a skirt, similar to the one I showed a few episodes ago. Maybe I don't have pictures, but maybe I can find a video again. I have put somewhere. And I wanted to try another gauge, but when I got this yarn, I could feel it would get kind of itchy, especially since the skirt has a not tight, but has a fitted waistband. And I know if I have a fitted thing in yarn that's feeling like this, it can get itchy for me, so I didn't want to use that yarn for that pattern, which is not published. It's a self-drafted pattern of me. So I decided to not use it. However, I bought 6 skeins because I didn't know what length I wanted to knit, so I had 6 skeins of worsted weight laying around in my stash, which really annoyed me a lot. And I decided to knit a sweater, but I knew I would have too much yarn for that. So I thought a sweater and a top could work, which it did. So as I said, I used 2 skeins for this one, and I used 4 skeins for the next finished object, which is, maybe you recognize it, maybe not because it's in black. It's a Ranunculus, the famous one. And this is my second one also, which is funny. So I knit, the 2 patterns I knit with this yarn are the seconds, and it's kind of the only time I ever knit pattern twice, I think. I mean garment patterns. So yeah, it's the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose, which is Knit Cafe Midori. And I used, as I said, 4 skeins of the Pearl Soho Linen Queen worsted in the colorway Kettle Black. It's the same as this one. So since the skeins are bigger, I used 440 grams. Be careful with that. I have a little bit of yarn left, but it's the same amount as what I had left for this one, so I really used 4 skeins for that, and a little less than 2 skeins for this one. As always, I am off gauge. Because the Ranunculus is knit at a huge gauge. I think it's 14 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I am again at 17, even though I used bigger needles, because this is stockinette and this is garter, so I guess that's why the stitch gauge is the same, but the row gauge changed with different needles. So yeah, I had to do some calculations so that it would fit me perfectly, but yeah, it was not too complicated. Basically what I changed is the raglan increases for the body. I think I swapped some stitches from the body and I put them in the stitches. When I did the raglan increases here, you cannot see anything, it's in black. Maybe, I'm not sure because I'm out of the light of the window when I do this, but oh no, you can see. So yeah, there's a raglan line here, and I moved it a little bit more to the body side because I had 2 little stitches for the sleeve to my taste, so I moved it a little bit. And I changed the increase rate. Not that much, but a little bit. I wanted to do a little talk about this pattern because there was an update recently, I mean maybe a year or 2 years ago, so recently, to be more size inclusive. So it has, I don't know what's the maximum bust size now, maybe I'll put it up somewhere, but yeah, in the numbers it's more size inclusive for sure, which is nice. However, all the sizes begin with the same lace work, which is the one on the top. Which means, for the bigger sizes, you have just a small necklace of lace at the top of your body. I guess for the bigger sizes it stops even before the shoulders, probably. And for the smaller sizes, like I am, it stops almost at the armpit. And I don't call that size inclusive. For me, size inclusive pattern is when the look is consistent between each sizes. And that's not the case if the lace yoke is the same for all sizes, because the shoulder width and circumference is not the same for me than for someone that has a 60-inch bust. So it's kind of size inclusive, but not to my standards, I would say. But there's that. The modifications I did, apart from the gauge. I chose the smaller neckline version, which you do with the provisional cast on and the tubular, just the tubular cast on, sorry. And then you start the ribbing. So that's what I did. Because that's what I did in the first one, and I liked the color fit. However, in the first garment I made, maybe I will put some pictures, or maybe I already have, I don't know. I have knit the short rows in the back of the neck and the short rows in the front, which doesn't work when you do a more fitted garment than the one in the pattern, because then the short rows in the front just make a straight line exactly where you would need a tip. So it was touching my neck at a very annoying place for me, and the yarn I chose back then was really itchy, and I didn't like the color either, so I don't know why I did that. But it was one of my first sweaters ever, so I just wanted to try out some things. This time I omitted the short rows in the front, and I actually completely changed the short rows in the back, because I did kind of standard short rows you would do for any round yoke sweater, which means I did short rows that go all the way on the back to the front here. You can maybe see the short rows here are already on this part of the neck, and they go all the way to the back. So that's the modification for the top part, and the raglan I already explained. And I obviously chose the long sleeves. I did the I-cord finishing that's described in the pattern, which I really, really liked. The first one I did that. And since it looked really cute, I thought I wanted to do the same for the body, because I don't like ribbing. I don't know why. I did some I-cord finishing also for the body, and I didn't do any decreases, because for the sleeves you are supposed to do rapid decreases before beginning with the I-cord edging. But for the body, I was afraid I couldn't pass it over my shoulders if I did too many decreases for the ribbing. No, for the hem. So I decided not to do any of them, just use the smaller needles and put an elastic in to cinch it in when I wear it. But I think I should have put it before blocking, because now it's kind of crinkly, and it wouldn't be that bad if I put the elastic in before blocking. So maybe I will reblock it, or I don't know. I will just put it on. I'm putting alpaca fluff everywhere and in my hot chocolate. So that's it. That's the garment when it's worn. So sleeve length is perfect. It's hitting exactly where I want to, which is nice, because the first one I did had long sleeves, but it was too short. It was like there, and I was always tugging on it. So now it's perfect. Really happy. And the body is that's my pajama pants. My belly button is here, so it's hitting kind of exactly at my belly button actually. And the elastic is cinching it in a nice way, I think, and it goes well with the overall look. Maybe I'll have a footage, like a B-roll of me wearing it somewhere at some point. Maybe I already put it, I don't know. So yeah, that's how it looks like, and it's perfect. I like it. The neck is a tiny bit too small. It's coming a little bit high, and when I move around, it comes back again too high. So it's okay. I can live with it, but it's not. I'm not 100% happy with that. But yeah, that's life. I will just have to wear how do you call them? Rolled neck or whatever underneath it because it's itchy. Both of them, the Soho top and this one. And yeah, it's just the yarn is itchy for me. I'm not sure if it's the alpaca or the wool contents, because we'll put the numbers here. It's a blend. I know linen is not supposed to be itchy, so it's either the wool or the alpaca. But yeah, I can definitely feel it everywhere. So yeah, I will have to wear something underneath, and it's a bit annoying for the Soho top because I can wear it as a layering piece underneath a sweater, but it's itchy. Especially here because I'm kind of athletic and I do have a bulk here because of, I don't know how you call them, pecs, something? I don't know, the muscles you have here. So it's really touching, it's rubbing here pretty hard. And I also wear backpacks, which is rubbing here also. So it's, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm kind of red here. So it's probably the last time I knit garment with this yarn, but it's a shame because the drape is lovely. Knitting with it was a dream. It was really, really nice. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's itchy. So there's that, and I'm gonna take it off because I'm too hot. I'm also considering knitting it a little bit longer because I have a little bit of yarn left, like 10 grams or something. So maybe I could just use it to knit the body a little bit longer so that it can be really covering a little bit more of my back, especially. Maybe just do short rows on the back so that the front stays the same. But maybe I'm too lazy and I won't do it, so I don't know, maybe not. We will see. Oh yeah, there's a funny story with this one. I was knitting on it when I went on a climbing holiday with my boyfriend and some friends 2 weeks ago. I talked about it in last week's episode, and I recommend you go and watch that because there is a very funny story at the end. So go and watch that episode if you haven't, because it's funny. Anyway, so when we were going there, we were driving with my boyfriend, only the two of us, and we were stuck in a traffic jam on the highway. And there were a lot of trucks next to us, so we were on one lane, and on the lane to our right, there were a line of trucks. And we were going kind of at the same speed, but yeah, it's a traffic jam, so we were kind of always passing each other on each line. Yes, and we were driving windows open, and I was knitting on this one. And I was knitting furiously because it's big needles, it's chunky yarn, and it's easy for my hands to grab, and so I didn't need to look, so I was just speed knitting on it in the round and stocking it in the round, so it was really... I guess if you have never seen someone knitting, it's kind of impressive to see someone just talking with the driver in the car and knitting like this without looking. And all the the truck drivers next to us were looking at me because, you know, a truck has a really, really high driver's seat. So they were overlooking, so it was really easy for them to look into the window to what I was doing, even though I was kind of low. So all the truck drivers were looking at me like this every time they passed us, and then we were passing them again, and when they passed again, they were look again and see how much progress I had made. It was kind of funny. And yeah, I waved at them at the end because we kind of bonded over my activity. Yeah, it was just fun. Anyway, so that's it for my 2 finished objects, and I think I can drink that now. Do you say hot chocolate? Maybe it's hot cocoa. I don't know. It's so good anyway. So my only whip for this week is the same as last week, which is the Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow. It's like crow, but with an L, so Clow. And as I said earlier, it looks like I haven't made any progress. It even looks like I have lost some progress, because I had to frog more than, just exactly half of it. So I still have the color, I still have joined in the round, I have the same amount of yarn left for the body, and I have less a sleeve than last time, because I have frogged until up here, actually, until the collar. Because the armhole was too big, and the sleeve was too big, and I used too much yarn, and I couldn't finish the sleeve with the whole skein, which meant I wouldn't have enough yarn left for the body, and the sleeve was not fitting anyway. I will put some pictures of me wearing the sweater. The sleeve was obviously too big, even before blocking, and when I lay the sweater down, you could also see the proportions are weird. Even though it's not blocked, so the body will grow widthwise, but even with growing, the sleeve was too big. And I don't know, I just pushed through until I finished the skein to decide, oh yeah, it's too big, even though I knew it from the beginning. But yes, I just wanted to knit, I didn't want to think, and it's annoying because I'm losing time and I want to wear this thing because I love it so much. But at the same time, it's just knitting, and in the end, knitting on this one or knitting on another project, it doesn't really matter. So when I want to knit, I knit. And I don't care if I have to frog or whatever. So I had to frog the whole body, which is a whole skein, until before I joined in the round for the sleeves and for the front where the zipper will go. And I frogged until way over the end of the armhole. Maybe I removed, I think, 5 pattern repeats or 4, which is 8 rows. And then I started straight again with the armhole shaping. I'm not sure you can see that very well, but there is a little bit of armhole shaping. I have no idea if you could see that. So I had to redo the armhole shaping, join in the round again, knit the whole body, and then when I was almost done with the skein, I have just enough left to do a little bit of alternating skeins when I joined the new one. And I picked up the skein I had frogged from the sleeve. So this is yarn I have knit once already. It's a little bit crinkly, but not too much, because I haven't blocked it. And it was in the skein form, so it was a little bit stretched out, so it's de-crinkling a little bit. And I am back on the sleeve again. And I have way less stitches this time. I have 4 more than what the pattern suggests, which is normal because I have knit the back panel a little bit longer. So I just added them to the decrease rate written in the pattern, so that I would end up the sleeve with the same amount of stitches when I get to the reeling. Whenever I get there, which I don't know when it will be, but yeah, that's it. I haven't made much progress, but I have knit a lot on this, which is fine because the yarn is such a dream, so it's okay. I don't mind. I really like it, and I just cannot wait to have the finished object, because when I did the try-on I showed you in the pictures, I put it on, and then I started going around about my day. I was like cleaning stuff in my apartment and doing things, and I was still wearing it, and my boyfriend was looking at me and was like, why are you wearing a half-finished sweater? But it's too soft, it's so comfortable, I don't want to take it off. And he was like, yeah, but you only have one sleeve and you are barely covering your belly, aren't you cold or something? And I was like, no, it's okay, I'm fine. It's just the perfect yarn combo with this pattern, and I just can't wait to have it finished. It's a dream. That was my Lanark, and I can now show you the tiny acquisition I have, which is a sock set from a French-based company, or a French-based dyer, indie dyer, and the name of the dyer is Le bruit des aiguilles, which means in French the sound of needles, and it's a self-striping sock yarn with a coordinating mini. So this mini is one of the colors that's in the self-striping sequence. And I bought this. No, wait, first, the colorway name is Hal, and I think it's the name. It's a reference to a movie, I think, because most of her colorways are references to movies, or titles of movies even. So I guess it's one of them. But I don't know the movie and I don't know the reference, so I cannot tell you where it's from. And this one is just called black, or noir, as we say in French. So this one is in the base 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this one is in same composition but 85%, 15% nylon. The reason they are different is because the minis can only be bought on this 85-15 base. And the last time I bought from her, I bought the 85-15 for the self-strapping too, which is super soft and squishy. Like, even if this is a mini, I like it so much. It's like those balls you squish when you are stressed. It's the same, really. But yeah, this base is a little bit more expensive and it's less sturdy because there is less nylon in it. So I thought for my boyfriend, which has kind of rough feet, I would be better off with 75-25 merino blend. Because I don't want to knit him socks and don't want to see them destroyed after 2 weeks because he has rough feet, so I prefer this one. However, this is going on the weakest part of the sock, like the heel and the toes, so it defeats the point. But I know I can only do, like, if you see a sock, you do what you want, but the most common thing to do is to have the toes, the heels, and the cuff in the contrasting yarn. But I know I don't have enough to do the 3 for both socks. So I have to pick between toe, heel, and cuff. And I think I will pick heel and cuff, so that the toes are in this base. I think. I really don't think I can do the heel in the self-striping. I don't think I really like the look of this. I do fish lips kiss heel usually, so I could. But I will see when I get there. Anyway, so as I said, this is for my boyfriend because when I knit my first self-striping sock, pair of self-striping socks with yarn from this dyer, he found them so beautiful. He was always looking at me knitting and saying, "Oh, it's so cute, it's so pretty, I love the colors, all the stripes are so amazing." And I was like, yeah, okay, I get the hint. You want some socks too? But I said to him nicely, like, yeah, but we are both climbers and you've been climbing for way longer than me, so your feet are destroyed by the climbing shoes. It's not your fault, it's just a fact. Your feet are rough because you need to have rough feet to be able to climb on a cliff, basically. So I can knit you socks, but I don't want to spend 10 hours knitting you a gift for you to destroy them in 2 weeks. And he was so sad when I said that to him. He was like, "So I will never have socks from you." He didn't say it that way, but that was basically the message. And so I said, okay, we can try. I can knit you socks. I think I will knit them at a tighter gauge, maybe on 2mm needles instead of 225 I usually use, so that they are a little bit more sturdy. So it will take even longer, but I don't care. I love him, and if he wants some socks from me, I can do that for him. And I hope they will last. I think I didn't describe even the colorway. So the colorway is pretty neutral. There is a fade of black, dark gray, and light gray, and there is one color, and it's like a vintage yellow. If you see what I mean, maybe I can put a picture of what it looks like when it's knitted up. But yeah, I thought I knew he would have loved a more how do you say, colorful striping sequence, but I thought he would probably have more opportunities to wear this than colorful ones. Or maybe not, maybe he wouldn't care and just wear the colorful ones all the time. I have no idea, but I thought for the first ones I would just try something a little bit more neutral to see how he likes them. And yeah, that's it for my acquisitions, and it's also it for today's episode. I am in a little bit of a weird context or period now because I am moving apartments in like a little bit more than a month, and I am stressing like never ever ever in my life. First, I hate moving. Like really, it's in the top 3 things I hate the most. Or maybe not, but I just hate it. It's just like I really prefer changing jobs or even changing boyfriend or whatever. It just stresses me so much to move because the whole packing thing and doing your sorting your stuff and throwing things away, and then you need the things you threw away but you kept the thing you didn't need, and then you have too much to move and it's heavy and it's long and it's tiring and it's hard and I hate it. And when you get to your new place, you have to make decisions about where to put what to put where, and then you cannot find your stuff, and then you need just a toilet roll and you can't find it anymore, and you need a knife to eat your pizza, but you can't find any knife and it's hidden in the cardboard box or somewhere. I hate it. And the things that different this time is that I am moving from a place that's smaller than where I am now, because this place here I was living with a flatmate before and with my ex-boyfriend even before, and they both moved out, and so this place is big enough for 2, but I am alone here for now. So I just threw all my stuff everywhere because I had the room to do so. But now I am moving into a place that will be cheaper first and also smaller, like more for one person. So I just need to size down. I'm not a hoarder. I'm not the type to just buy things whenever I have the occasion. Like I never buy Christmas decorations or holiday decorations or whatever. I never buy one-use things, especially decorations. I just don't see the point. So I don't have much stuff. However, when I own something, I have trouble throwing it away, especially if it was a gift. So I just, from the almost 30 years of my life, I have just kept all the things I have been gifted and the things I have decided to buy, which is not that much compared to some people, but to my standards, it's a lot. So I feel like I have a lot of stuff, and really I think it's okay, it's not that bad, but for me it's a big deal, and I'm moving to a place that will be smaller. So I have been sorting stuff and throwing a lot of old things I never used, and I don't even look at them, but just because they were a gift, I couldn't throw them away. So now I am trying to, do you know Marie Kondo? Like does this spark joy thing? I am trying to do that with all my belongings right now. And it's hard, it's a difficult process, so yeah, it's just not an easy time for me. But yeah, I have been packing since 2 weeks ago, so I have a pile of boxes behind you, and I will be packing for the rest of the month so that I can do short sessions that maybe last for 3 hours, and when I'm done with 3 boxes, I just call it a day and start again the next day. So it's easy on my nerves and it's easier to do, but that means I will be living in boxes for the rest of the month. For now, I have only put away things I don't use, like books, or what have I put away? My yarn stash that I know I won't use until after the move, and yeah, stuff like that. The other things that kind of stresses me is because I know I won't have much knitting time in the next 2 months, and I don't want to knit less, but yeah, that's life. So yeah, I have no idea how much I will be able to knit for next episodes. I don't even know when it will be, because in 2 weeks I have a wedding, I mentioned in last episode, so I don't know when I will find time to film. We shall see. Anyway, so for the end of this episode, I went climbing as always, less than usual, but I went climbing, and I have some footage of indoor climbing. I think one I will put is from yesterday. We went to a new climbing gym, bouldering climbing gym, that opened a month ago. And it's kind of like it's a 45 minutes drive from here, so it's kind of far because I have 3 other that are 15 minutes drive from here, so I have no real reason to go to there. But we went to see it for the first time. It was really beautiful. Like you can see, it's located in a very much posh city. Like it's in one of the richest cities in Switzerland, and Switzerland is already rich, so you can see the deal. And yeah, you could see it in the gym. It's very different from the ones that are around me here. But yeah, it was a nice change. And I tried a boulder that was... it was not difficult, but it was weird. And the footage I have is when I did it for the second time, so it's much more smooth than the first try. But yeah, it's kind of funny. And also it's a perfect example of sometimes it's better to be small, because for example, for my boyfriend, he's not that tall, but he's taller than me. And for him, it was so hard to do the beginning of this thing. You will see, for me, it's easy. Like I just can sit and move my arms around, and it's kind of easy for me to fit under the roof. But for him, I won't put footage of him, but yeah, it was so funny to see because he's way stronger than me usually. But in those cases, power and strength are no use. Completely useless. So it's funny to see that sometimes it's better to be small and lightweight for some things than to be strong and powerful. So there's that. And I think I will put another one of something that was kind of hard and I just can't do the last move. So the sequence is really cool and nice to watch, so I will put that for you, but I fall at the end. And I just hope this week I can complete it without falling, but we will see if I can make it or not. And also in the climbing subject, next week on Thursday we have a competition in my usual gym I go to. It's not a official competition, it's just a friendly thing. I usually make it to the finals when I participate in those, so we will see if I can make it. Because all the stressful situation with the moving and everything really has a toll on my body. Actually, I can feel everything hurts, my finger hurts, and yeah, it's just much more difficult to be efficient in my climbing when I'm like this. So I'm not sure I will do any good in the competition, but we will see, and I will show you some footage of that in the next episode, if I have anything interesting to show, and if I don't break my back 2 days before, as I feel I will do. Yeah. So anyway, that was it for today. I will now go back to my packing, do some more boxes, and trying to lower my level of stress. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and happy knitting. Bye!